while many Ukrainians anxiously watched the recent chaos in Russia, hoping their foe would defeat or at least weaken itself, soldiers on the front lines battled on. They say there have been no observable changes in the field, and Russian forces continue to lob artillery at Ukrainians, who are now on the offensive.
When we are on the offensive conducting an assault, our artillery works first, and most of the Russian soldiers flee their positions. Only a few stay, maybe 2 or 3 soldiers, but then we throw a couple of grenades and that is the end.
Like many soldiers fighting in Ukraine's weeks-old counteroffensive, he says he has overheard panicked Russian soldiers complaining about lack of ammunition and reinforcements. But soldiers also say the battles have been fierce, as Russian troops have had more than a year to build fortifications and devise strategies to hold this area.
If you are monitoring the situation, you know that the offensive and the liberation of cities are not progressing as fast as we would like, but they are progressing quite well.
Once a picturesque string of quaint villages, Ukraine's battle here is for what has become an abandoned wasteland. In more peaceful Ukrainian cities and towns, locals say they hope that Russian infighting will speed the end of this war, but it's hard to say if that will happen. What's obvious, they add, is that the death and destruction they have already suffered make it impossible for it to ever end all that happily.
How many young people died? How many became disabled? The things can be rebuilt, but we cannot bring people's lives back.
Besides more than a year of shelling, Zaporizhzhia has suffered from the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam that killed dozens and turned this region's reservoir into a massive desert, leaving locals to try to stave off what is now a looming food and water crisis. But in the combat zone, soldiers say as battles rage on, it's impossible to look beyond what they say is their most immediate goal.
We are doing everything to make it end as soon as possible. I would say we're motivated. We want to go home. We understand that we will not go home until our mother Ukraine is free and intact.
He says for soldiers, the war will only end if or when Ukraine is victorious, which means for them, retaking all of the land internationally recognized as Ukraine. Heather Murdock, VOA News, Storozheve, Ukraine.